Hey guys! Today's video will be once again about the snowstorm that will hit the mid-Atlantic Northeast and southern New England tomorrow. It's unofficially called Winter Storm Quade by the Weather Channel, just to kind of make it easier for you guys to know, what storm we're currently tracking. But in any case, this is a very interesting storm nonetheless, especially because there are winter storm warnings in effect all the way south into just to the north of Atlanta. That's insane. It reaches all the way down to very northern Georgia and stretches all the way up into southern New England. That includes the Boston area and the southern portions of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, and Boston again, part of the eastern portions, counties of Massachusetts down through the very southeastern parts of Massachusetts through the Cape. So this is a very, very interesting storm. It's going to be hitting a lot of areas, especially areas in the south that aren't really used to whatsoever seeing snowfall, or at least decent amounts of snowfall. Let's see particularly what the winter storm warning there is about. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. All right. So winter storm warning is in effect for those areas until noon tomorrow. Snow and light freezing rain, total snow accumulations of 1 to 3 inches are possible, with locally higher amounts at elevations of 200 feet and above. And then at lower elevations, snow accumulations of up to an inch are possible. If anyone lives in these areas, but in general, if you're dealing with a situation where you're getting snowfall from winter storm and you're only expected to see, 1 to 3 inches, only a few inches to accumulate, that will cause surprisingly the most amount of car accidents and accidents out on the roads, because people generally think that, oh, it's not that much snow, I can still get out there and drive as fast as I typically do. No, you gotta always drive as slow as possible, even when there's only a few inches on the ground that's accumulated, because no matter what, the roads will always be very slippery. So again, this storm will be impacting areas in the southeast, portion of the deep south that aren't really used to seeing kind of winter precipitation in general, and that extends up through a lot of the Appalachian Mountain Trail areas up through Virginia, including Washington D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, and the Cape and Providence. Now let's zoom into the New York City area. You can see the New York City area is under a winter storm warning. All of Long Island's under a winter storm warning. Northeastern New Jersey near New York City is under a winter storm warning, and then southern portions of Fairfield County in Connecticut are under a winter storm warning. Now, northern Fairfield County, Litchfield County, and Hartford counties are all under winter weather advisories. So again, there's always different reasons for that. So again, you want to look into specifically your local National Weather Service office and forecast to figure out those reasons. But in general, the New York City area, if we go to winter weather and we look at the snowfall forecast put out by the National Weather Service office in New York, it's calling for about half a foot in downtown New York City, which will definitely cause some decent problems on the roads. Definitely will cover a lot of the roads, most likely, because it will be quite cold. And again, it'll be coming down into pretty decent clips, and it's only going to be coming down again within a 6 to 8 hour period. So again, that snow's really going to be coming down pretty heavily a lot of the time. Generally 6 to about 8 inches or so widespread across the New York City tri-state area that the NWS New York office is covering. About 7 inches in southern Connecticut, maybe 7 to 8 inches towards very southeastern Connecticut, especially along the southeast coast. So again, half a foot, maybe a little more than half a foot, again, will definitely cause some problems on the road. So please be careful if you are venturing out on the roads. Now, let's check in and see how the models are handling this storm. First, I'm going to show you the GFS model. Then I'll show you the CMC model. Then I'll show you the European model. And then I'll show you just to get a little bit more input on this storm. I'll show you the NAM model and the RDPS model. Now, we're first starting with the GFS model, the American model, and we'll move this forward towards tomorrow. You can see here's that storm system moving up from the south and bringing snow to this. I don't know why it's showing rain in towards Washington, D.C. That's probably going to be snow. I think that's a glitch, to be honest. It's showing snow for... excuse me. It's showing snow for much of Virginia through Maryland. I think definitely including Washington, D.C., to be honest, in this frame. And West Virginia and the Ohio, Kentucky is also seeing some snow showers in this frame. This is by about very early in the morning, like 5, 6 a.m. or so, 4, 5 a.m., between 4 and 6 a.m., I'd say, tomorrow morning. So still while we're sleeping, or the very early birds are waking up. This is now by 7 to 8 in the morning. You can see snow has moved into Philadelphia already. It's started to move in through the New York City area. You can see that low pressure system is kind of at this point riding right up along the coast, and will then create some more mixing issues for areas literally right along the coastline, especially for the New Jersey coast and the Delmarva, and again the Virginia coast as well. But then as we get towards towards noontime or so on Sunday, you can see the low pressure center starts to curve a bit more towards the north and east, farther away from the coastline. And so New York City and Connecticut, Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, kind of more or less most of Massachusetts, will be able to stay in all snow, and actually quite moderate snow at this point, especially for southern Connecticut, southern Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, Long Island, New York City, and along the New Jersey coast. Now, we continue to move this forward, and you can see its low pressure center is being shown at a 997 millibar, so nowhere near whatsoever a strong system per se, but still it's a very fast moving system that will bring light to moderate, even heavy snow to some places in a very short amount of time, so that will still cause problems nonetheless. And this is by 1 to 2 p.m. Early tomorrow afternoon. And you can see heavy snow is being funneled in towards the Cape, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and moderate snow is being funneled through Boston, Providence, into southern portions of Connecticut, down towards Long Island and New York City. Now, we continue to move this forward in time. This is now by about 3 to 4 p.m. or so, I would say. In the mid to later afternoon on Sunday, the snow is starting to move out of the New York City and western Connecticut, and moderate to heavy snow, in fact, is still occurring for especially very eastern Massachusetts, including Boston, down through the Cape. We move this forward again, and then the system starts really moving out of the area, and will pretty much be done by the time we get towards Sunday night, and especially overnight Sunday. Now, let's show you what the GFS model is currently thinking for snowfall totals. And it's showing pretty significant amounts, especially even for all of the major cities along the I-95 corridor. Washington, D.C., it's showing up towards 7 inches. Baltimore is showing up towards 9 inches. Wow, that's pretty... that's surprisingly heavy for that area, to be honest. About 8 inches or so around Philadelphia. New York City around half a foot, again, like the National Weather Service New York office was showing. Long Island showing a bit less amounts, surprisingly, but generally around that half a foot mark. All of New Jersey, it's being shown generally half a foot towards 10 inches or so. Connecticut, southern Connecticut looks to see anywhere from half a foot to 7 inches or so. Northern Connecticut, generally 5 to 7 inches of snow. All of Rhode Island looks to see 6 to 8 inches of snow, maybe 9 inches in some spots. Southeastern Massachusetts, Boston looks to see around 6, 7 inches, towards southeastern Massachusetts being shown around 10, 11 inches of snowfall. Generally Massachusetts looks to see around towards that half a foot mark, and then more than half a foot, closer towards that foot mark, in fact, getting towards around the Cape area and Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. So that is what the GFS model is currently showing for this event for tomorrow. And now let's show you what the CMC model is showing for this system tomorrow. Now, alright, so I'm showing you the CMC model. Now let's start taking this forward in time, heading into tomorrow. You can see it shows this again, as I said, that GFS model, that frame showing that rain into Washington D.C. in this frame. It's probably a glitch because the CMC model is showing snow for the D.C. area. So again, snow has started now by 7. This is actually delaying it. The CMC model really delays it. This is already by 7 to 8 in the morning. It's not really even getting close to New York City, really. And doesn't even show it starting for New York City until closer towards, probably towards like mid-morning, towards late morning, where now this is by 1 to 2 in the early afternoon on Sunday, showing a 994 millibar low pressure system, moderate snowfall going on for the Cape, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, down through very southern Rhode Island, Long Island, southern Connecticut, down through New York City, central New Jersey, down through the Delmarva, where kind of heavier snowfall is being shown there. We continue to move this forward. You can see a very heavy band, a very heavy snowfall rate setting up pretty much right on the Cape, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket area. According to the CMC model, 986 millibar low pressure center. So the CMC model shows the system getting quite strong as it heads off towards the east of the Cape and up through the rest of New England and in towards Canada. Now, this is, again, by about 7 to 8 in the evening, and snow is starting to lighten up for the New York City tri-state area and start moving out. So, again, for the New York City tri-state area, it should be out of here generally, I'd say, around 5, 6, 7 p.m. at the latest. It should be out of here for the New York City tri-state area in particular right before game time for Super Bowl Sunday for the Super Bowl itself. So, that'll be nice watching the game after just the fresh snow has fallen. That'll be very nice to see, look outside while you're watching the game. And that'll be kind of somewhat of the case for a lot of people as the system quickly moves out. Now let's show you what the CMC model is showing for snowfall accumulation totals. And it is showing definitely lighter amounts for the DC and Baltimore area, only 2 inches or so for the DC Baltimore area. Philadelphia, it's showing around 5 inches. The New York City area, around 5, 6 inches, like that in the National Weather Service New York office was showing. Southern Connecticut, generally around half a foot to maybe 7, 8 inches. Northern Connecticut, generally half a foot to maybe 7 inches in spots. Rhode Island, generally 6 to 8 inches, especially eastern Massachusetts. Boston looks to see around 8, 9 inches. And very southeastern Massachusetts looks to see CMC still very, very bullish, especially with that frame of the much heavier snowfall band moving over the Cape area, upwards of a foot to a foot and a half of snowfall, in fact, in spots in the Cape, Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. So, well, I don't know if that much snow will fall for that area, but definitely I think the Cape, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, that area does look to see the highest chance of seeing up towards that foot mark, to say the least. So definitely significant snow going on for that area, for sure, with this system. So again, that's what the CMC model is generally showing. Definitely a much smaller, definitely much more small scale snowfall event than the snowstorm we just had this past Sunday, which was just an insane, just truly insane snowfall maker. But again, this will still cause problems because of the short amount of time it will be moving through and dumping all of this somewhat heavy snow in a very quick amount of time again. Now I'll show you the European model, and I'll show you, let's switch this back to the precipitation, and let's show you what the European model thinks for the system's track and who sees snow. And again, so we'll move this forward into tomorrow. This is now by 7 to 8 in the morning. Again, snowfall started up for the New York City tri-state area, getting into southern Connecticut. Snowfall going on, lighter snowfall going on for Philadelphia. Snowfall occurring for Washington, D.C., Baltimore. Washington, D.C., in fact, is at this point in the heaviest of the snowfall for all of these cities along the I-95 corridor at the moment by around 7 to 8 in the morning, early tomorrow morning. Now, by 1 to 2 p.m., very early afternoon hours tomorrow. Heavy snowfall is being funneled in, 993 millibar low pressure system. Heavy snowfall again is being funneled in through southeastern Massachusetts, southern Rhode Island into southern Connecticut, Long Island towards New York City. It shows around this time. The European model is interesting. It shows around the early afternoon hours of Sunday. Mixing issues occurring for the Cape. That's interesting. We'll have to see if that occurs, if there's any chance of that occurring. And then by the time we get to, again, 7 to 8 p.m., the European model shows the snowfall fully moving out, that it has fully moved out of the New York City and pretty much all of Connecticut. Lighter snowfall is still occurring for Rhode Island, very eastern Massachusetts. And then, again, as we continue to move the frame forward into later Sunday and into overnight Sunday, the system quickly moves out of New England and into Canada. Now, let's show you what the European model is showing for snowfall accumulations. And, again, it's actually, it's showing much lighter amounts per se, slightly lighter amounts, especially compared to the CMC model for the New York City area. It's somewhat closer to what the GFS was showing for the New York City area, generally around a half a foot for pretty much the majority of the New York City tri-state area. And then as you get out towards central to eastern Long Island, and very eastern Connecticut, and then of course towards Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, is where they'll pick up more than half a foot of snowfall, is what they're showing. Especially for southeastern Massachusetts around the Cape, up to around a foot of snowfall is looking likely according to the European model. Generally, all three of the models agree on the fact that pretty much the Cape has the best chance out of everyone here along the coastal northeast, mid-Atlantic, southern New England from this snowstorm to see up towards that foot mark. And then again, Boston looks to see around 8-9 inches of snowfall. Providence around towards actually 9, maybe 10 inches of snowfall, and even up towards 10-11 inches of snowfall in some spots in Rhode Island. Very southeastern and eastern Connecticut, coastal southeastern Connecticut looks to see around 8-9 inches of snowfall. Northern Connecticut generally looks to see around 4 to 5 inches of snowfall generally for the European model. Southwestern Connecticut looks to see around 5 to 6 inches of snowfall. So again, it's a much lighter snowfall event, but again, with the short amount of time frame that the snowfall will occur and fall, that will definitely cause much more hazardous conditions and hazardous traveling conditions than typical. Now, Philadelphia, the European model shows, again, around 5-6 inches or so, kind of the same as what it's showing for the New York City tri-state area. Washington, D.C. is being shown at around 6-7 inches of snowfall. Baltimore at around 6-7 inches of snowfall as well. So widespread for, it seems like pretty much for all of the major cities along the I-95 corridor, the megalopolis area from D.C. to Boston, looks to generally see up to around a half foot of snowfall for pretty much all of these areas along the megalopolis corridor along I-95 between D.C. and Boston. The Cape looks to see up towards a foot. That seems to be the hot spot for the highest amount of snowfall totals. But still, again, with these snowfall totals, even if you don't live on the Cape and are expecting up to a foot of snowfall, half a foot of snowfall, up to around a half a foot of snowfall, will still cause problems, again, in any case, with, again, the very short amount of time that this snow will be occurring tomorrow, within only about a 6 to 8 hour time frame span for most areas. So, again, this is it for today's video, guys, but again, make sure tomorrow, if you are at all traveling out on the roads during the snowfall and while the snow is occurring, or even just after, even going into, by the way, Monday morning, the roads will, of course, still be quite slick because of how cold the temperatures will be, especially overnight Sunday into Monday. So, again, make sure you are as cautious and as careful as possible traveling out during this event, and even afterwards when the snow is still on the ground, because of the cold temperatures that will still make the roads very slick and dangerous to be on. So again, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please consider, again, down below, liking the video, commenting down below on what you guys think about this quick-hitting snowstorm that could drop a pretty significant amount of snowfall accumulation, to be honest, for most of these areas in a very short amount of time. That's very interesting. So, again, comment down below on what you guys think about this system. And, again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, and if you're checking out this video, if you like this kind of weather content, these kind of weather-related videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you're already subscribed, make sure those notification settings are on for my channel so you get future update videos on future major systems that are impacting areas in the United States. So, again, really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.